So the next question is, so if someone is someone in the job market or planning to the job market, of course you said whatever you did, but give them the your advice. But the best practices, things should avoid, and then things should be dynamically the advice basically. If someone is planning to go to the job market or someone in the job market.
Well, if you're planning to go into the job market, I would say don't go into the job market until you've finished obviously all the content and you feel comfortable. Like you will personally know when you are ready for the job market. And then you, of course, your blue will know, the whole team will know. And then once you do get into the job market, the best practices is kind of what I mentioned earlier. You know, you have to treat it like a 9 to 5. You always have to have your phone ready. You always have to have your emails ready. You always have to check them. And then you shouldn't take any you shouldn't take a lot of days off. You know, you should treat it like it's a Monday through Friday 9 to job. You know, if you do it like, oh, if I apply to jobs one day 10 to 15, but then the next day I apply to two, then you're gonna start to, scratch your head and think, why am I not getting called back? So the main thing with the job market is same thing with the overall boot camp, right? The biggest word is consistency. If you apply to, 10, 15 jobs a day, you can apply to 100. One or two are going to reach back. The other, 99, 98 won't. So if you're not consistently applying to jobs, you're just going to be scratching your head thinking, why am I not getting a job? Why am I not getting into any interviews? So you have to consistently make a game plan and execute that game plan where you keep applying, brushing up on your resume. But it's not just applying. You have to, while you're applying, you have to set time away to do mock interviews, either if you're doing it by yourself or if you're doing it with someone like Shiblubar or the team. So as you're applying, you have to continuously be, ready, keep brushing up on the interview questions, the content, because you can get the you can be applying to jobs, you can be sending out your resume, but if you're not nailing the interview questions, what was the whole point of that? You wasted 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day applying to jobs, but now you're in the interview, you're just bombing it. So you have to do half and half, like 3 hours applying, 3 hours brushing up on the content. But the biggest thing was when you do get that interview, you review the job description, whatever they um are asking for. Study those interview questions, like if the like on mine when they wanted Docker, Linux, and then something I forgot what the third one was, but
Principal.
and Ansible, yeah. So those three topics, that's what me and Shublubai were working on and interviewing the interview questions. I would come to the office and then I would study all the Docker interview questions. I would rewatch the videos. I would practice it myself. I did a Docker mock interview with Shublubai. So those three I was really um, relying heavy on, because if they want 3, 4 things, you don't have to study something. They're not gonna ask you for that. They're gonna ask you on those 3 things. So that was really helpful. So all the days prior leading up to the interview, I would go back on the content side, the interview section, and I would watch all the Docker interview questions. I'd watch all the Ansible. I'd watch all the Linux interview questions. So that's one thing. Yeah, there's like 200 plus interview questions in TS4U's portal, but you don't have to, know all of them. You just have to know whatever the ones you're needed when you're applying to the job. And the things you don't want to do during the interview process, you don't want to get comfortable too. If you have a interview lined up, don't think like, okay, this is gonna be it. Like this is gonna be my last interview. I'm gonna get the job. That's something I did, right? I would get an interview, I would get an interview, and I was like, man, this is the one. And then I would stop applying to jobs. I would stop doing all this. And then next thing you know, I bombed the interview. I'm back to square one. I don't have any other interviews lined up. So the best comfortable thing you can do, or you feel comfortable, is when you have multiple interviews lined up. Because you're not gonna pass the first maybe 3, 4 interviews. She blew by. I remember he told me, he's like, it shouldn't take you more than 10 interviews though. Like if you're interviewing with 10 different companies and you can't get a job, then that's just kind of something on you. You're doing something wrong. So my sweet spot was like, I want to do maybe after like the fourth, fifth, that's when, I think I'm gonna get comfortable and that's when I'm really gonna land something. And that was the case. The first three, after every interview, you realize like I should have said this, I could have done this better, but then you carry that on to the next interview. So when the fourth, fifth interview came, I took everything that I
I
messed
was I was not any of your interview. I was in one interview, got the job. So
yeah, exactly, yeah. Those three interviews I was BSing around. I was like, I'm gonna do it myself. And I didn't end up too good, right? And then I took everything I learned, and then I took everything what Shiblubai told me, helped me with. We went over the job description, we laid out a plan. Maybe if I did that earlier with him, I would have even gotten something earlier, right? But the point was I didn't. So yeah, that's definitely something you don't want to do. Don't get complacent. Don't get satisfied with yourself because once you get that one interview, it's so easy to be like, I'm on top of the world. I'm about to be so confident. But the best thing you can do is just try to have multiple interviews lined up. And even if you do have an interview lined up, act like you don't even have it in terms of keep on applying to jobs and jobs and jobs. Because you might get another one the next day. And the more you have, the chances, the greater your chances are to, lock something up. So that's something where I struggle with where, I'd get too happy, I'd get complacent and get comfortable, but just keep, doing it. Your job's not finished until, you have that end goal. So until you hear a yes or an offer letter, your job's not finished. So just keep having that mindset. I have to keep applying and applying and not just applying, but brushing up on those interview questions any chance you get.
got it.